Welcome to the SHENKO Dynasty.
Welcome to the SHENKO Dynasty podcast. I am your host, Kashenko. And I just woke up, so that's why my voice is all crazy at the moment. But I don't even have to clarify that. If you have an issue with my voice, you can take it up with God. Anyways, I have been really busy. I've been working a lot. And honestly, it feels really good because I actually am in a place in my life where I have energy to sustain all these things, like just working, even making sure to take care of my physical body because I'm on my feet all the time. Getting massages and just exploring my health and my body that way, because I feel like a lot of my self-care that I've done over the years has just literally been self. Just like me, myself, and I. That's all I got in the end. That's what I found out. And so now, like, doing massages and things with other people and getting service from other people, that's me opening up a bit more. Because, we all have different levels of comfortability. Like, I'm someone also that likes to do a lot of things myself. So I'm trying to stop doing that for everything. And like being able to open myself up and trust people with my body. As I've been settling into this routine, I've also been developing projects to do with animation and world building. So I'm currently in a transition with my business, just in terms of what I'm focusing on and like where it's going. Because the last 3 years, it's really been artist development, one-on-one sessions, gaining that like real first-hand experience personally with artists. And I've had that experience previously working with artists and at a record label and stuff like that. But it's different now because it's been my own independent scenario. Like, this is me literally forging my own pathway. Yeah, so it's been a journey, and now I want to get more into animation, gaming, coding, which I have been doing, but I want to actually produce some things that are interesting, like on YouTube, and just explore the ways that I can deliver my information through storytelling and animation and 3D modeling and all that kind of cool stuff, because that's a part of my world building and what I see for myself, which over time you guys will get to see how this vision of mine will be materialized in the physical world. So I'm currently in that process of my world building where I'm like, okay, I have so much information and like resources and wisdom inside of myself, and I have been sharing that over time slowly, but now I would like to do more of that through interesting and meaningful ways. Nevertheless, today's guest is JODUN. And I know Jo from the Melbourne music scene. Obviously, I was born and raised in Melbourne. Jo has always supported me and shown love throughout the years. So I wanted to give her this space so she can talk about her process and the things that she's realized. I think it's so important that we just listen to each other's stories, because I feel like there's a lot of things that we all go through that may be similar. But to hear how all these reflections are processed uniquely through each individual is so interesting. So I was very curious about the things that she's learned in her process, because I know she's connected to her spirituality. And obviously when you have that foundation, that's how you're going to view the creative process. So being able to have this conversation with her was really nice, and especially getting to know more of her creative foundation. Jo is a multifaceted artist, and she has many different creative skills and abilities. And so let us celebrate her as she continues to express her gifts into the world. I hope you all enjoy this episode. Welcome to the SHENKO Dynasty podcast. I am your host, Kashenko, and today I have a special guest with me today, JODUN. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, my name is JODUN. I am a singer, songwriter, and producer from Melbourne, Australia. And I'm so excited to talk with Kasha today.
Hey. Yeah, me too. Do you want to talk about your name and the backstory behind that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a lot of people, it's so funny because, like, obviously, when you see Instagram handles, like when people come to you in real life, they'll be like addressing you by like your Instagram IG handle, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I should probably clear this up. It's a really good opportunity. So it's JODUN. JODUN is my mother's maiden name. So um, yeah, so the story with that is my grandparents and my mum's parents I never got to meet. And they were the ones to introduce music into the family. So um, it's quite important for me to carry on their name and their legacy because I didn't get to like have a chance to like explore and live that out. And it's really important to me because I I'm quite, I guess, I look quite similar to that side of the family as well. And like, just everything about me like is just really them, and I got a lot of their genetics. I got a lot of their, their traits. And like, yeah, when my mum, I guess, tells me stories about my grandparents, something just kind of lights up inside of me. And I feel like their spirit carries on within me. And I chose to honor their name and use it as my stage name so I can keep carrying on their legacy.
Oh, that's beautiful to have that connection to your ancestral line like that. And like even I relate to that in terms of my heritage. It's Polish, so my name, it obviously stands out as being like Eastern European.
Mm.
So, but I made that like as an obvious thing, like, so that there's some kind of context there, even if you don't know what it is. It stands out to be something just a little bit different. Um, so tell me more about your culture and your heritage.
Okay, that's so beautiful that you can also relate to that as well. And I think like just as, I'm a first generation Australian, so my parents migrated here from Mauritius in the 80s, and my mum literally left everything, came here with two kids and a dream, and for real, like I come from really humble beginnings. I grew up in the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne, and yeah, it was a really strong Mauritian upbringing. I'm not gonna lie. Like everything that my parents kind of like ingrained into me was like our culture, and like I'm very, very close to my Mauritian roots. And yeah, I guess when I was about 5, I started dancing Mauritian Sega, which is like our traditional dance. And my mum formed a little group with me and like all the little Mauritian girls that used to go to my primary school. And we used to perform at this Mauritian festival that used to be held at Federation Square back in like 2004. It's called La Faya. And if like the real Mauritian OGs know that La Faya was like the actual place for like all of us like to go for community. And like that was a really yeah, it was like a really amazing opportunity to like, I guess, be on stage from a really young age, and it kind of like started my foundations for dance, especially because I have a strong dance background. So I danced like cultural Mauritian Sega for about 10 or 12 years. and I would perform at like weddings sometimes, and like just any kind of like community festivals and anything that we did. Yeah, so I did that for a long time, and even like Mauritian music is very spiritual. It's like a lot of Mauritian music comes from the slaves, and our background's quite sad, like in the way that Mauritians were treated, and yeah, we didn't gain independence until about 60 years ago. So it's still a relatively new thing for, I guess, Mauritians, and like to hold their pride. So, oh, I guess for my parents to like come with so much pride and like bring that to Australia was like a massive deal. And we found a lot of community in like the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne. So everyone kind of knew each other. I grew up with like a really close knit like Mauritian community around me. And even like my siblings as well were very kind of like they went down the same road. So like they were performing, I guess, in Mauritian Sega for a while as well. And then my older brother actually, he's a drummer, and he started a Brazilian drumming band called Speranza Entertainment. And he started that about maybe like 12 years ago, I think. And his partner at the time was a Brazilian samba dancer, and they kind of like collaborated together. And he kind of built this like, yeah, this like really amazing like empire of like different drummers. And he also performs now at like different festivals and events, and like he's very much involved in the Latin entertainment industry in Melbourne. And so, yeah, I was really inspired by that. We were quite close during that time where I was kind of like learning the fundamentals of samba. And so it was probably around maybe 18. I started learning, and then I started taking actual classes around maybe 2021. And then I basically became a professional level, and I was a samba dancer for about 7 years. So yeah, that was like a really special kind of like, I guess, way that growing up already dancing like culturally, like I was really able to like pick up the technique, and also like just the story as well. Like Brazilian samba was, founded in the favelas in Brazil, and it was kind of like quite close to home with the same kind of like vibe of Mauritian Sega, how it was, I guess they're a way for Mauritians to reclaim their identity and their roots as well. So I've always kind of been really, I guess, like enveloped in the dance community, and like also just dancing from the heart has always been something that I've gravitated towards. So dance and music kind of went hand in hand. So I never really like you know either like I was dancing or I was singing or I was playing piano, or like my upbringing was very creative, and like my parents wanted to like nurture that about me. And I was really lucky. Yeah, I had a lot of really great opportunities growing up doing music, and I did musicals at school, and like I was acting and singing, and yeah, like I've been doing this for a long time, so I feel yeah, I feel really like quite well versed and experienced in like everything. And I'm really excited. That's why I feel like this year has really unveiled a lot of those memories, and like I want to get back to that. I'm trying to like go back in a way. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah,
Thank
because when I
you.
think of you, it's definitely multidimensionality and like, you have singing, production. I know you get into engineering as well,
Mm.
and dancing, but also doing makeup and like expressing yourself creatively that way. So definitely like it makes sense now hearing like more of the backstory about your upbringing and stuff. But there were a few things that you said that I kind of want to touch on. And this aspect of storytelling through dance. I'm not a dancer, but I can dance if I want to. I haven't been like formally trained or anything, but I can feel a rhythm. But so from a dancer's point of view, can you tell me more about the storytelling and how that's incorporated in dancing, but also, leaning into the cultural aspect of as well?
Yeah, 100%. It's really interesting because I feel like dancing has always like brought me back to my body. Like somatically, it's always actually been the biggest thing for me to like ground. And I realized with a lot of like Latin dancing and also a lot of Afro dancing, like it's very, you're getting quite low onto the ground, and it's a lot of like bending of the knees and like shaking your hips and like rotating your hips. And like it's really all about, like, I guess the sacral chakra area. And that's always been a really big point of healing for me. Like dancing has always been super, super healing. And like, I guess the cultural aspect of that as well comes in hand, where like, the stories that have carried through like all of our generations, like especially, coming from like Africa as well, like has been really life changing for me. Because when when I started becoming conscious of like the type of dancing that I was doing, and I think like as I got older, it made more sense to me. Because there was a point in time where I also went into hip hop as well, and I was doing really well in hip hop because I had the cultural context from like Sega as well. And it was really just about dropping into my body and like connecting with, again, the stories that have carried. And like now it's in me, like those stories that like my ancestors passed down through dance and through music, like they all live in me. And so like when I dance, I really feel like I'm able to like evoke a lot of emotion and also like ground at the same time. It's a very like visceral experience for me. And I realized that like that's actually got me through a lot of like hardship as well. It's really interesting this year. I actually have gotten into the queer community and the queer scene here in Melbourne as well, which has been really beautiful. And obviously with that comes to dance techniques like Vogue Femme. And Vogue Femme is really, really healing for me as well, because again, it's about telling your story. And again, because I have, so much experience with that too, it's been a really nice, like, new self-expression. Because I think like with Sega, I associate that a lot with my childhood. It wasn't something that I really took into me or took with me into adulthood, especially. But obviously, with Samba, that was like an extension of Sega for me. Like it was already there. I just had to tap into it and like learn the technique and the stories behind it. And again, it's like stories of, like suffering. It's stories of like overcoming hardships and adversity, which again, like I have experienced in life. And like it's been a really, really grounding thing for me to come back to constantly. And now, like, if I'm feeling, dysregulated for any reason, like, dance is the first thing that I think of. Dance is the first thing that brings me back. And a couple years ago, actually, I've got a really beautiful friend named Emma, and she is a Kunyin. She's a Kunyin instructor, which is basically Kunyin is a form of somatic dance and somatic expression. And I had a few sessions with her with this particular modality of grounding, and it's basically free movement to music that evokes, feelings, and you let those feelings come up, and then you basically dance it out. And it was like the most craziest thing, because I was like, this is like kind of what I've been doing all my life, but have never had a modality to express it through. And like she was explaining to me how this is like really healing, and it gets you back into your body. And for a long time, I think I was dissociated from my body as well. I actually got injured about 4 or 5 years ago from Samba. I actually got like a slip disc, and I couldn't dance for about 2 years. So like I just had a lot of pent up energy, and I think obviously my mental health like definitely took a toll because of that. And I think in that time, again, I've just kind of gone from like, if I can't dance, then I'll sing, and if I can't sing, then I'll write, and if I can't write, then I'll do makeup, and if I can't, like, I've always had another kind of like outlet to help me process my emotions or just anything that happens in my life. Like I've always had something there. But not being able to move your body when you are so used to moving your body is such a crazy feeling. So when I did kind of go out, come out of rehab and stuff like that, and I could move my body again, I was like so grateful. And like now movement is medicine to me. and I take it really seriously because I know what it's like to just not be able to move and like have like energy kind of like stuck in your body and you don't know where to put it and you don't know where to go. Like for me, I guess the cultural context behind like dancing for me is very spiritual and it's like for survival for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Wow. This is amazing.
Oh my God. It's so nice. Like I just yeah, I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to talk to you because I feel like
Yeah.
again, like it's really you got me at a really good time of like being able to articulate my
Mm.
experiences.
Mm.
And I feel like that's always been a really difficult thing for me to do because like I have a strange relationship with social media and it's really hard sometimes for me to like
Mm.
encapsulate everything that I want to say and I'm like I just need to use my voice. But then like you know what I mean? I'm like, it's really hard trying to like balance the energies that I have because I'm so like mercurial. Like I'm so I love to talk and I love communication and I love to just, you know, like yeah, but it's really hard for me sometimes to like do that on a bigger platform. I really value like just one-on-one conversations and like stuff like this really it really
Yeah.
like it's I love it. So
Yeah, and I think a part of me, that's why I wanted to do this because uh, like I know that feeling of like posting stuff on social media and because I'm mercurial as well. I have Gemini rising and a Virgo
hey,
sun. So I'm dominated by
by
Mercury.
Mercury
So I like
period.
communicating and it's not always for me I like verbally communicating and stuff, but I also love writing. Like that's where I can
Mm.
really articulate certain things and in my lifetime I've had to learn how to verbalize and speak up and like express myself that way. And I cuz like for me, I have trauma and like blockages with my, being able to speak and stuff. So that's been something that I've been working on in my lifetime. And I feel like now I'm at a place where I'm comfortable with that and who I am, but there's always ways that I'm learning, like how to do things, how to communicate specific things. Because as we know, the internal world, like it's not something that you can always put into words. It's like a feeling, it's an energy,
Yes.
so it's like it imprints on you and it's like, oh, I can discern and perceive this thing. How do I communicate it? And sometimes it's not always straightforward.
That's so true. Oh my God, literally, I feel the exact same way. And that's why, like, I actually was so inspired by you and the way that you crafted and like shaped like Shenko Dynasty as well. And like, I've always just been like, I've literally, I'm like your number one fan. I
Oh,
literally,
I
like,
appreciate that.
from the jump, like, yeah, like it's just it's been and like even the session that we had, like that one time when we had the creative like discovery call as well, like
Mhm.
I genuinely felt like you got it. Like there was just I didn't have to like say too much. Like it was I really felt really like received by you, if that made sense. Like
Mm,
your energy was very it was like really we just connected in that way where like words just came it almost like it comes easy to us but the way that we communicate is like very special and like
mm,
the way that you craft your words and like even on social media like you found a way to like encapsulate like your truth and that's
mm.
really inspiring to me and I've really always looked up to you for that.
Oh, thank you so much. Like,
Of
I'm getting
course.
chills. I'm getting chills. So I really received that. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah. Tell me more about your process in terms of communicating. Because you said there's like, you've had a interesting relationship with social media and communicating. So what has that been like for you?
Yeah, it's been like it's really up and down. Like there's times that I want to get on and just like do an entire like story rant and just like get on there and just blurt and word vomit every, thought I've ever had and just like really engage with like my audience in that way. And then there's like other times where I'm like, I have nothing to say and I don't want to say it on social media. So it's very like, it's so Gemini like that, where it's like you're either like the world's my stage, or it's like I'm literally going to be in my room. Like I won't, I'm not outside, I'm inside. Like, I don't want to talk to no one. Like,
Yeah.
so it's just like really balancing that as well. And like, obviously, like the same with, it might be same for you, where like your social media presence is now it's like you've got a sense of, like, I feel like you have a better sense of control over like what you share and stuff like that. And I think I'm still finding that balance where like, I don't need to overshare, but also like sharing sometimes does feel like oversharing to me, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
really hard because it's not that I have a fear of being vulnerable, it's not that at all. Like I have no like blockages when it comes to expressing myself emotionally. I really have worked so hard to be able to get to that point, but I just feel like with I love TikTok so much. Like on TikTok, that's where you'll really see the real me come out. Like I have no bounds on TikTok, like literally love TikTok down. But like Instagram, for some reason, I don't know what it is. It feels like very like voyeur, and like I'm just like, it feels like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy vibes on Instagram. So I'm still kind of like defining my relationship with social media in that way. And but then again, like um I'm trying to figure out a way to like engage with my audience more, because I'm also just like, I want to find community. I want to find people that I genuinely connect with, who connect with me and my music and my stories, and like that's my goal. Like I'm not trying to be some influencer. I'm not trying to like be someone I'm not. Like my Aquarius placements will not let me live it down. I cannot not be myself. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
and also, like, I feel like that with that as well, I come off really weird. Like my Aquarius,
What do you mean?
yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm sometimes I'm like, this looks like it could be posted in like 2008. You know, like I'm like, why do I like always like do the most? Like I could be posting a story and I'm like, I want to put like a really old school filter on this. Like I want to use like the stuff we used to use back in the day. Like why can't I do that anymore? And it's just like creating a world where like I don't want to have to like conform to like all this like social media shit. Like I want to do it my way. And like
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to fight against right now, is like the systems are just like trying to make me conform, and I'm like, no, like baby, my first house Saturn, like that's never going to happen. So like I'm just always trying to embrace the weird quirkiness of like just who I am by nature. And I think that's what makes me interesting. And like I have a Scorpio midheaven as well, which is really hard because like again, it goes back to that fear of being seen. But like, dude, when you're seen, that's when you're going to attract the people that you need, like that are
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
support you. So I'm
yeah.
just constantly battling with that all the time when it comes to social media. And like putting out Down this year was really good because like Down was really special. So the way that Down kind of came about was that like I wanted to like reclaim myself as an artist, one, and two, also like do really cool shit with like hair and makeup, and like I was the full creative director, and did everything. Like all the looks that you saw, like everything was all crafted by me, and like it was me and my best friend. It was the most indie shit ever. We literally just got a studio. We just shot all of the looks. We took photos. We recorded the music video on the same day. It was like a 12-hour day. We just smashed it out. We did it all. Like it was crazy. Like it was, the way that came about was so wild. Like we were planning that for so long, and then we finally locked in and did it. And the end result was just like better than I could have ever imagined. And
Yeah, I
so
love the artwork.
thank you so much. Yeah. And again, like I think that was such an ode to my childhood, because like we grew up in the early 2000s, and
Yeah.
like I just wanted to be a video vixen. Like to be real, that's all I wanted to be. Like every time like I'm like oh my God, I watch like, you know, you watch like old school R&B music videos and you're like,
Mhm.
oh my God, I need to be that. Like that's my fantasy. That's my final form. And I'm like, well, if I had no bounds, what would I do right now? I would become an early 2000s video vixen and like, you know, it's giving Beyonce, it's giving like, you know, I just love that era. And I just really wanted to
Mm.
like encapsulate the fun element of it and not focus on, oh shit, you know, like we were broke as fuck. I'm not even gonna lie. That was like the most indie shit we could have ever done. Like we had no budget. We got all the like I got all my costumes, like everything is from my wardrobe, like all the makeup you see, like everything was just like we did it ourselves and it was like the coolest thing ever. And that whole process was just like a real kind of like reclamation of myself because I'm like, I am a multifaceted girl. Like why not show all the parts of myself? Like there's no need to like hide one thing or present one thing more than the other. I just wanted to
Mm.
like be free in my expression and down was just like the perfect thing for that.
And like the early 2000s, I would have to say I really love that. Like that whole era, early 2000s is really imprinted in me. And you referenced Beyonce and stuff, and like Dangerously in Love album is
Oh my God.
forever my reference.
Like bury me with that album. I swear to God.
Yeah. And so, like, even you bringing up those aesthetics in that era, I'm also in my process trying to find ways to incorporate that to keep it true to my authenticity, but pull from those references and those like lived experiences that we had. But just make it in my own way, you know? So, like, even with the game development stuff that I'm doing, like, finding specifically early 2000s games and like late 90s games and using that as like an aesthetic reference um and just the vibe because I don't know like things nowadays you can't replicate it in the same way, so it's like
Exactly.
it's really hard like just to I don't know, I'm gonna figure it out, but it's just a process in terms of how that's going to fit with what I'm doing,
Oh my
so
God, I
yeah.
can't wait. You said the game stuff and oh my God, I'm so excited. Like that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like the world that you're already creating within like the Shenko dynasty as well is really, really cool because it's again, it's like it's so unique and you're drawing from like the experiences that like you kind of already have. Like that was another thing with Down as well. I was like, I need to use what I have. Like I'm
Mm.
not gonna be able to like afford to like get a studio like another you know a big like production team to do this like honestly I was unemployed during that time. I had very limited resources and it's like you'd be surprised like what that does to your creative process like when you don't have the things that you need and you make it happen anyway. So like it was really really cool to witness that like not only that like I was doing it but also like yeah it was just like it just happened so crazy like in a crazy way like we were not planning on doing this massive thing even though like that single like down I wrote that in like 2023. So for me to have put that out even and just give it another chance at having a life outside of my computer that it was stored on for the last four
I'm
years or
dead.
whatever. No, literally like that's another thing for me as well. It's like it's a really big deal for me to like put out music as well because I'm not like a regular music putter adderer or whatever. I don't be doing that like a lot and
Same.
yeah and yeah like it's been really interesting as well because I'm like what did I want the intention to be with Down? It was honestly just to prove it to myself that I can do this shit. Like it wasn't even about getting you know streams or anything. I despise Spotify obviously for obvious reasons like and I was like do I just because my EP is strictly on SoundCloud. My EP Peace of Mind is like yeah, I don't plan on putting that on streaming platforms because like my ethics are too strong and like I believe that I want everybody to have access to it no matter what. And SoundCloud has always been there for me. So like yeah, like I just I have really like strong views when it comes to just how music should be distributed. And with Down, I was like really thinking of, do I want to print a CD single? Like see what I mean? Like all of these kind of themes from like, yes, when we didn't have access to all of these like technological things, like if you go back to the early 2000s, like how were people distributing music? Okay, like they'd have a CD, they'd have like a pressed vinyl, like they'd have access to merch and stuff like that. Like I'm trying to strip it back, if anything. I'm not trying to like keep up with this like, this fucking AI BS. Like I love, AI has its place, obviously. But yeah, when it comes to like creative integrity, I just feel like I know what I'm capable of. And again, like Down was a really good way for me to be like, no, I am a creative and this is all my work. And, me and my best friend, we just collaborated on this project. It was so pure and so like, there was just a pureness about it that could not be derived from anything aside from our human brain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned before we started recording that you feel like you're kind of changing the way that you're relating to music.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain more of that? Because you're saying you're moving more away from R&B and just like even you said you were taking a break,
Yeah.
but like you were kind of discovering what you actually want from music. So what is that?
I think I want to go back to like this real kind of innocence when I like when I was little. I when I think back to how I used to process my emotions, like I feel like over the years, obviously, growing up and being in your 20s, like just experiencing life right now is crazy. And I think I want to get back to a point where I was creating without all the noise around me. And like I remember when I was little, I used to like obviously if something used to happen, like for whatever reason I was upset or sad, I'd go straight to my piano. Like there was no question about it. And I'm trying to find my way back to my piano and just like writing songs on the piano again. And I haven't done that in a really, really long time. And I don't know if it's because I've gotten more fearful over the years of like my own creative process. But when I think about stripping it all back and going back to my childhood, and again, like this is all inner child healing as well. It's like a lot of kind of like shadow work when it comes to, I guess, your creative process. Because you got to think back to the times where, like, for example, I was doing a lot of like sort of like therapy and shadow work as well. And my therapist was like, "Oh, can you like name one point where like you felt like your voice, kind of went quiet or you didn't feel like you could fully express yourself?" And I remember it was like in year 12, we went on like some camp and there was a upright grand piano at the campsite and I would just always go to it, always be playing and just in my own little world. Like literally like when I think about my younger self, it was very just me in my inner world and I was very in touch with like my creative energy. Like nothing could really penetrate that. But I think over the last couple of years there's just been so many things that have happened that have gotten in the way of that relationship. And I was thinking back to a point where yeah, I was playing the keyboard once at that camp and this girl came up to me and she literally was like, she said the most wild thing. She was like, "Oh my God, you kind of sound like a white girl when you sing." And I
Mm,
was like, "What the fuck? Like,
yeah.
why would you say that?" And
What
it
does
kind
that
of like,
mean though?
that's what and it just like, I was thinking about it for so long. And when my therapist asked me that, I was like, that's really real. Like, that was a very visceral thing that happened where I felt like I couldn't sound like myself. And I
Mm,
think, again, I used R&B as a way and a means to like, um, diversify my voice and help me kind of like process. I got a lot of like what I was already writing about, like Circles and Fun and Games, which were like my two first singles I put out in 2020, were very like experimental, but very much R&B. And then when I think back to how I wrote like circles and fun and games, I wrote it on my piano. And I remember having that feeling again of like, I need to go to my piano and write this song. So the process stayed the same, but I think the effect that it had on me over the years, it kind of like, um, it was harder for me to like do that, if that makes sense. Like, I felt like there were things that were getting in the way where like things like that, things like people getting in your head and saying that you sound a certain way or that you can't express a certain way, like
Mhm.
whereas it like lyrically or in a genre, like it just puts a damper on your ability to like actually make the music that you want to make. And I think even like the producers that I was working with as well, and obviously like this is a whole other thing, but yeah, working with predominantly like male producers and like obviously just the just male producers in general, like you already know, but like I just didn't feel like I was expressing the way that I need to. Like I
Mhm.
was like being in a studio was not a pleasant experience for me. Like I felt very much like I had to um, get this out. Like there was a lot
Mm.
of pressure, and it just felt like it put a real damper on this like really beautiful, innocent kind of like experience that I was so used to having, like going to my piano and writing music. Like it's like picking up a guitar and writing a song. It's like so natural. You don't think twice about it. But when you're in a studio full of like men that are like trying to like control you and how you sound and like putting all this like extra processing on your voice and like even on the keys, you're like, nah, bro, like probably not that much on there. And they're like, yeah, no, let's do this. And I'm like, ah, oh, damn. Like I really, yeah,
Sorry,
literally.
the voice you made. Yeah, no, listen.
Oh my
Sorry.
God, no, seriously though. Yeah, I honestly I put it down to just like people, me just being around the wrong people who like couldn't
Mm.
actually accept that there was a method to my madness. Like there was a method to me doing things the way I did it because it was authentic to me, not to the way that, they wanted XYZ to sound. And like even though I felt like I had a lot of like creative input on like the songs that I put out, it was more so it wasn't about like once it's out, it's out. It's about my process, and like my creative
Yeah.
process is very important to me. And if I can't express that in an honest way, then why the fuck am I making music?
Yeah. I
So
I feel that. No, and I actually posted about this a few days ago because I saw a snippet of I think it was someone from is it Suno, like the AI company or something like that?
oh yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
were just saying like musicians don't even like I'm just paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact thing that was said, but musicians don't like the process of making the music. Like so I was like, okay, this is what I don't like cuz I'm neutral about AI. I don't see it in extreme
Mm,
ways,
hmm.
and there's ways that it benefits me
That's
and
right.
ways
Yeah.
that it probably will distort the creative process and like art and music and like what we're doing here as creative people. So there's like a fine line, but I just don't like when it is pushed or like marketed around the final product being like this end desirable result. Like, oh, have these tools and then it kind of bypasses all these things within the creative process. Like, okay, you can have certain tools, but at the end of the day, you're still going through a creative process that
Mm,
you have to sit with yourself with. Like, the reason why music resonates, the reason why we are specifically drawn to certain artists or certain people is not just because of the way it sounds or the way it looks. It's because there's a frequency behind it that is also very healing and it resonates with our own energetic system. So
Come on now.
that's like a whole process that you need to be aware of. Like
Hmm.
in some capacity, like you're processing the things, the challenges that you go through within, like how to like mix a snare, or like how to mix a whole all of these instruments together. It's like you're solving puzzles. It's not only good for
Literally.
you as a human, but like when you do feel challenged or when you feel stuck, it's like you have to sit with yourself and you can't bypass that process. So it's like I'm very cautious about that aspect of the way that AI is being pushed. It's like,
Absolutely.
oh, you can just have these results, but that the results aren't going to hit. The results don't have the same impact or essence to it if it doesn't have that whole like artist creative process behind it, you know?
Absolutely. Oh my God. 100%. Like everything you said, I'm like, yeah, exactly. Because it's like it's so much, like you say, like it's so much more than the end result. Like, a lot of the songs that I've been writing in the last like 6 months as well have been um like quite deep. I'm pushing my pen. I'm trying to really get back into like my writing and less about like, you know, production and engineering and like really trying to strip it back. And then I feel like when you have that, like you've captured the essence of like a demo, right? When you record a demo and you cut a demo, it's like you just want to keep listening to it. Like I'm listening to it in the car
Yes.
over and over again.
Yes.
I'm like, you know what I mean? You're playing in the
Falling
shower. You're
asleep
like,
to it.
exactly. Like it's that, you know what I mean? Like it's that
Yeah.
inner like obsession that you start to have where it's like, wow, like I
I
made
made this.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's like so like I don't hear people talk about that enough. And like that's
Mm.
my favorite part of like creating is like
Yes.
falling in love with this little thing that I made that like is so dear to me. And it's like it's just I'm in this like very like it's kind of like I like to think of it like, when flowers grow, like obviously you plant a seed in the darkness and it's like in its budding phase and like everything grows like in the darkness. And I feel like that's a really beautiful metaphor for like the creative process as well, because I think about like late nights when I'm creating, it's dark as fuck. It's like
Mm.
late nights. Like I'm really in the grit and the grims and the dark alleyways of my mind, like trying to like really like cut this demo and like make sure that, I'm really telling my story. And I'm like, that's like so beautiful. Like that's such a beautiful way to view your creative process because like as you explore that more, like the inner growth that comes from that, the trust that you gain
Mm.
from being able to like take something that was nothing, take
Mm.
that frequency and turn it into something that is like sonically able to translate like to
Yes.
the people is crazy. Like that is a process that I'm sorry, like that's a human real raw process and like no one can take that away from you. And I'm trying to that's I guess that's a feeling I'm trying to get back to now. When I say I'm moving away from a lot of things, I'm actually moving back to like the real origins and the genesis of like me as a creative person. Like what is that process like to me? And like I want to explore that more.
Yeah. Whew. Yes. I feel that too because I'm into production and engineering and all that kind of technical stuff as well. But I kind of resonate with you in terms of how my childhood was, where it was just me in my inner world and I was just creating. And it was like me and my keyboard and
Yes.
like just recording voice memos. And I still have some of them.
Me too.
And I was like, wow, like I'm still
I'm still
that
that
part of me.
girl.
Yeah, that part of me is
Yeah.
still there. And like all this distraction or all these influences with like just the way people perceive how music should be, or like, you know, you get exposure to certain people and environments, and it's like you start, I don't know, if you don't have like a strong sense of self, you get warped into those
Mm.
distortions. And it's like, even though I was learning certain things in the production process or engineering process and stuff like that, which is all valuable, it's like I was hiding myself in certain ways of my true voice. And I feel like now, over the last maybe couple of years, I'm really leaning into my true voice. Like not being scared to show that, like not hiding behind autotune, or like not hiding behind just certain things where because it's like you were saying about how that girl said that about your voice, that you sound like a white girl. It's like you have these imprints and they linger, and it creates a distortion around how you even see yourself and how you're able to even use your voice, use your gift. So I
Yes.
definitely went through that process too. And it's like now I see the parallel between me being more authentic and being honest and like showing up as my true self, and like constantly in my day-to-day life, like if something doesn't sit well with me, like not being afraid to use my voice instead of like the default that I kind of went to. I developed certain patterns like to hide and like keep myself isolated or away. Rather than doing that, the more that I spoke up, the more that I saw my actual voice being able to be what it actually is, my true voice actually coming out. So in like a literal singing sense. So it's like these are all things that are interconnected. And and even if you're not a singer, it might be through different ways where like that's why I'm so passionate about artist development and just the creative process, but how it's also intertwined holistically with how you're showing up as a literal human in the world, because
Oh,
it's not separate.
100%.
So like when I hear people just having these textbook or like really templated things about what artists should do, or like how careers should be, it's like I can't resonate with that. Like that only works to
Me
a certain
too.
degree. It's like
Absolutely.
everyone is so unique, and it's like once you can tap into the truth of who you actually are, like the core essence of who you are, and you live that and you make the intention and effort to like just be that in every aspect of your life, the creativity and the gifts will just flourish because you give it room to actually express.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. Wow.
Yo.
Oh,
So
so good. And like also as well, like this year I've because when you were saying all that, I was thinking about like us as women and how this year I've really started cycle syncing.
mm,
And that's been really, really healing for me because last year I got diagnosed with endometriosis and PCOS. And I realized that, like, psychosomatically, like the underlying like spiritual causes of that is a lack of self-expression. And that's why I started going deeper into myself this year because in a attempt to heal myself from the inside out, I knew that there was a part of me that I needed to reclaim, and that showing up for myself was actually going to heal my body. And it I am a very spiritual person by nature as well, and I hold a lot of energy, and I realized that I was holding a lot of energy in that area because, again, I was was blocked from my creativity, and that was like creating another sort of like psychosomatic effect on like my cycle and my like reproductive organs as well, and like their ability to like heal and renew. And honestly, like once I started getting more in touch with my natural rhythms and cycles as a woman, my creativity actually strengthened, and I was able to again like that's why I think I was able to put out music properly this year in the way that I wanted to, because I really started healing my all the things that I felt like were preventing me from doing that. I got to slow down and completely just come back to my body and just like actually embrace the fact that I am a woman with a period, and
Yes.
I am not a, you know what I mean? Like I'm not a man, I'm not a machine, I'm not what capitalism wants me to be, and I'm actively fighting against those systems constantly every day to be able to claim myself as the, you know, the spiritual woman and artist that I am. Those two go hand in hand. And it's like when you were saying like how you show up for yourself every day, is it reflects and it shows in your art. I really believe that to be true, because through doing that I was actually able to heal, and I don't have endo flare-ups anymore, and I have actually managed to balance my hormones in a really holistic way. And there's a lot of things that I do on a daily basis to make sure that I don't end up where I was, you know, say last year. So a lot of things happened to me last year, and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not being true to myself, and I need to reclaim that this year. So it sent me down a really beautiful journey, and it's kind of like it is so true. It's all encompassing. Like if you're lacking in one part of your life, like there's a domino effect. It's going to affect
Mm-hmm.
your creative energy, your mental capacity, your emotional capacity, like just you as a human being, like going outside and like planting your feet in the
Yeah.
earth and like, you know, making sure that you're taking care of your human, you're a human being, you know, like
Yeah.
you should give yourself permission to do all those things. And for a long time I just didn't, because I was in survival mode and it was like really really tough. And yeah, that's why I feel like this year I've really done a solid 180, and coming back to myself in my body has been like the most healing thing for me, and has like obviously impacted my creativity in such a beautiful way.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I see a future where we can embrace this very non-linear process we have as creative people.
Mm.
Um, because I think for me, what I have been carrying for a large part of my life is like what I don't do things very linearly. Like I'm a Virgo, so I have structure, and but I can see now that as I was even talking to my mom about this the other day, like I'm acting more like a Virgo the older I get, but it's the
Mm.
same me that was when I was a child. I just couldn't express it. And so it ended up creating all these like ways that I couldn't be organized, or like certain habits of like being late, or like just but that wasn't really me. It was just like I couldn't express myself. So and you know, in the way that I was showing up in the world. And the more that I show up, the more I'm like, I'm really being a Virgo. Like I'm really organized, I'm really structured. But that I just feel like I'm on myself now. It's not like I've changed my habit and like I'm just turning into a different person. Maybe it's happening in that way too, but it's always been me. Um, and why I brought that up was because like there's this part of me that is very structured, and like I have a process with certain things, like the hygiene, keeping things to a certain standard, like you know, there's like a standard.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
but but I'm also very non-linear and very flexible and adaptive as well. So it's like now I'm in a beautiful place where it's everything is balancing in a real, just like I'm just I get to I just get to exist, and it's not like stressing me out about having this guilt and shame about my process. And
I love that.
even when people reflect that to me, um, as if like there's a certain way I have to do something, or like I just can't resonate with it and I don't take it personally. Whereas before I used to take it personally, like there's something wrong with me, or like why can't I do it? But I'm functioning in a way that is just truly me. And so, and I have like such a strong identity and I know who I am. So it's like
Mm.
these people, they can't tell me shit about myself.
Period.
So,
Period.
like, I don't feel, and I don't have that goal of like,
Like trying to convince people and like do all that work. Yeah.
yeah, no, it wastes energy, but it also like, I understand that my whole lifetime is the art piece. My whole
Oh my God.
lifetime,
Gonna cry.
it's my whole life. It's not just like, oh, in 1 year I'm gonna release a project and like this because this is what's gonna happen, and like, there's results that you assume that's attached to that end product, right? My whole life is the process. And so even if it's like I'm happy to age. I'm not in a rush, you know?
Mm.
I Whenever these things are meant to express, they will express it. Not because I'm forcing it, but because I'm giving it room to like ruminate and digest and process, and now I'm in a place where I'm seeing more like actual output, but I've put in the time in my process to like really get to know who I am, like
Oh,
heal, resolve these traumas. Like, that's a part of the freaking process. Like I'm
exactly.
I'm not I'm not just putting out shit just to do it,
Yeah.
you know? So everyone has their own process and you have to listen to that. So I've never liked when I always resisted people when they tell me what I should do, like, because I knew it wasn't true to what I wanted, you know?
100%. Oh my God. Everything you just said, I literally got chills. Like when you said like it's your whole life, like that was, yeah, that really hit home because it's so true. Like I just think about how like as the creative people, like we're also multifaceted and like I've just also been thinking about creative people in the workplace as well and like how just like it's just so difficult to just like I just feel so reduced to just being a mere like employee sometimes, and I'm just like, damn, like y'all really don't know that, like, I was like, I spent bloody freaking 20 years like learning the keyboard and like doing all this stuff where it's just like that's me. Like I'm not this person that you're projecting all your stuff onto right now. Like I'm a whole human being with talent and love and needs and wants and like all of these like amazing things that we all possess. Like it's so crazy how like people will try and reduce us to like what they think because I think again like in Australia like we have really bad tall poppy syndrome
Mm,
and like trying to make your way out of those systems that are like so just you just feel so constricted and restricted in your expression is like really difficult to navigate as a creative person. And I think like for me because I have sort of like been very heavily involved in going from the kind of job to job and like over the last couple of years like it hasn't been the most stable for me either, but like during that time it was like probably the most like authentic I ever was because I was fighting against these like oppressive systems that were trying to like, make me, I guess, like especially in the hair and beauty industry as well. And I often talk about this too. And um it's really nuanced because like as a POC and like a woman coming from that angle, like I need more representation. I want more representation, and like me actively using that in like the creative process, where even like for down, I was able to like express all of that energy that I don't get to express in day-to-day life in my career. I can pour all of that into my creative like endeavors, and like show that this is like I'm more than just what you perceive me to be, and like I'm actually using my gifts. Like I'm using all of the gifts that like God has blessed upon me, and like using them to express myself. So like that's just a really beautiful way to say like this is my life. Like I am not this one-dimensional person. Like I really possess so many different qualities that make me who I am. And like I'm also just actively finding that in everyday life as a musician as well. Like as a musician in Australia, and like specifically in Melbourne as well, like where I feel like sometimes it's hard to find community, and sometimes yeah, I find that I've really had to like forge a new space. And similarly to you, where you've created your own version of like expression, and you're actively wanting to help people realize their true potential. Like I want to also do that in my music too, and just I think that's why I'm moving into like new genres, and like actually tapping into the things that like make sense to me. Maybe it didn't make sense at the time, but now that I'm revisiting, and I'm actually revisiting old parts of myself that I really loved as a child, like that's what's been the most healing for me.
Mm-hmm. So it's like this process of being a multi-dimensional, multifaceted creative.
Mm.
That's what I feel like I am. So even I've always identified as being like the music is the core of everything for me.
Yeah.
But I am so creative, like in so many different ways. And I've always thought, like, as a young child, I remember feeling like I could do anything if I want to. It's not, and I remember seeing other kids around me, like there was some kind of limitation in what they could achieve, like, oh no, I can't do that or whatever. But I was always like, no, I could, if I wanted to, I could
I could do that.
freaking,
Yeah.
yeah, I could build that fucking thing. I could do this. I could sing. I could write. I could do whatever I want to. Like, I could be good at math. And I was good. Like, I was in the accelerated class as well.
Oh,
So,
period.
so it's like this when you have so many things that you could do, sometimes it gets you don't know what to do because there's so much.
Oh my God,
And
literally.
I've felt that way in my life, but I've also had to humble myself in the sense that I don't always need to act on certain things. I don't always need
Mm.
to act on everything all at once. And so once again, this non-linear process is like sometimes I have to develop different aspects of myself, whether it is like going through a phase of developing my music skills, developing my voice, production, whatever it is. And then it might be a period of like going through a few months of like fully deep diving into my spiritual part of me where I'm just not on earth.
That
do, you,
that part. Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
I
It's
get
like
you.
I have to go through these processes, and for me, life isn't just straight. It's like
No.
it's so multidimensional. So I'm constantly going through these things. Do you feel like you relate to that, or what is your experience regarding being multifaceted and multidimensional?
Oh my God, everything you just said. I was like, yes, that is me. That's literally me. I was similar when I was little. Like I wanted to do everything. I wanted to like be everything. I was like literally like that's why I love I also like love Barbie in that way, because like Barbie's like she's that girl. She does everything. She's like, one day she's a nurse, the other day she's like a vet, she's a teacher, she's a rock star. Like, there was just something I really loved about Barbie growing up that was just like felt very very like true to me. I was just like, so that, yeah, why can I not do all those things? I didn't want to ever place any limitation on me. And I think my parents also noticed that about me at a young age as well. And they were like, yeah, look, like, I don't know, she wants to sing now. I guess we've got to, like, yeah. And they were just very adaptable to all of my little phases that I went through. And like, yeah. And I think again, like, this year, or I would say like in the last couple of years as well, that kind of like multifaceted energy has also helped me realize that I'm queer as fuck. Like, I do not like conform to, you know, the, I guess, yeah, the gender binary as well. Like, even though I identify as like she her, I still feel like my sexuality is also very reflective of like the many things that I possess and the things that I do. I've never felt, you know, nothing's really ever stuck long enough for me to be like, okay, yeah, except for music and except for like making music as well. Like, that's always been a constant, but even then it's so layered. It's never been like a one thing. That's why I feel like, again, with R&B for a long time I just felt really boxed in. And I was like, I want to make like electronic stuff. I want to like do like punk rock shit. Like, there was just so many things that I'm like, oh my God, like, this is not, I've never been, you know, the type to just stick to one thing. And like, even with dancing as well, like when I moved out of samba and I had a good run and I was like, okay, I feel like I can move on to something else now. And I think when I, came out as queer, I really felt really strongly towards like the queer community. And finding like Vogue Femme was really powerful for me because obviously the history with Vogue Femme is created by Black trans women and reclaiming themselves through dance as well. And I resonated with it so much because, again, it's a means of survival. I think, like, in nature, like, nature does not stay the same all throughout the year. That's why we have seasons. That's why we have all these different plants, and like the beauty that exists in nature is so vast. And I could never, like, I think of myself sometimes as like, I feel like I'm a tree sometimes because I'm just like, I'm constantly shedding, I'm growing, I'm shedding, I'm growing, I'm shedding, I'm growing, I'm rebirth, I'm shedding this skin. Like, it's so like we're so detached from our like real kind of nature. And like, that's, again, it ties back into like us being very cyclical beings. Every week is a new energy. We come out of our menstrual phase, we go into our follicular phase, we go into our ovulation, then back into luteal. It's like the inner spring, the inner autumn, the inner summer, the inner winter. Like, we're not, like, we were never designed to be, to be one thing. And I think that's why we actively fight against these like oppressive systems that make us want to conform. And I'm like, yeah, that's never been me. And that whole entire process, like, it's so, I incorporate it into, my sexuality, the way I make music, the way I go into nature and like all these things. I'm just like, everything is so not linear in this world. Like, why are we trying to like force this so much onto people? And I really, yeah, I really think it's like the most special part of like accepting the defeat that comes with being human, is like understanding your true nature as like, you're just here to exist and you're here to experience all these different parts of yourself. Like, do not ever limit yourself to one thing. And I always tell, like, when I taught last year, when I was teaching keyboard and music, I'd always like make sure I taught about the fact that like you can always change your mind. Like, to these kids, like, as kids, like, your world is so colorful and so, like, I got to really tap into their world. And I did a lot of inner child healing like last year as well with teaching. And like, the one thing that they taught me was that, like, if one day, they didn't want to keep learning a song, it was okay for them to change it, to change to another song, to change to another,
Mm.
it was just little things like that that like really made me feel like it just brought me back to myself and in my own creative process. And I was like, I'm literally teaching children right now. I need to be able to tap into their world. And in that time frame, like they taught me more than I could ever teach them. And like, yeah, I just have a really strong relationship to my inner child now. And I don't restrict myself to just doing one thing. And I'm always like, even with job hopping, like that was a massive theme for me as well. Cause I was like, damn, like I really should probably get a stable job and like, save for a house. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, but that is not me. Like I really do believe like, yes, stability is important. And I think in this very, 3D material world, it is good. It helps you, have the means to express yourself in other ways for sure. But I think it also serves as a reminder for you to like, like if you're like life honestly is so it's so up and down. Like you just never know what tomorrow brings. And honestly, like for me, I never want to just be like, oh yeah, I'm pouring all of my energy into this one thing. And then I know for a fact that I'm going to change my mind in like an hour about it. Like, so it's just, I wake up feeling different every day and I just go based off how I'm feeling. And truly, that is just because I am like just an air sign by nature. I'm very naturally adaptable to like my environment and my, like just things in general. Like, I never want to ever like be held down by one thing. So I think again, like I'm as like multidisciplinary artists as well, we just shouldn't there's no reason for us to like restrict ourselves to doing one thing. Like do everything in this lifetime as long as you're alive.
Yeah, and like I was thinking about how I can't imagine doing the same thing for multiple years at a time.
Oh my God. Couldn't think
Like,
of anything worse.
yeah, I I find myself in a place now where it's like I like the idea of doing work for 6 months and then like 6 months go travel the world or something like that, you know? And so I just came from Poland and I was there for 4 months. And now, I'm in a place where I feel like physically relaxed because I had a good time in Poland, but also I feel like now that I'm back in Australia, have time. I really felt my nervous system just relax. Like I was sleeping, I felt calm. And I was doing like a lot of ancestral healing there,
Wow.
just physically being in Poland and seeing certain family dynamics play out. There was a few situations where it was like pretty uncomfortable and like I'm definite ways that I'm Polish and but I'm also multi-dimensional in that way too. I'm not very like I'm not just one identity, if that makes sense. So going to Poland and like I did get along with everyone and I held I meaning I did get along with people and um learned more about the history and culture and like the specific anecdotal stories of being Polish and what that means. So there are ways that I can relate and there's ways that I'm a bit different. But so like I think those kind of experiences are really important too. Um for me, but like for creative people too, like or anyone in general. It's
Mm.
like I and I didn't have a specific plan of what I wanted to do. I created some things, but I wasn't in a hyper focused creative state all the time. Like I wanted to just be. I wanted and that's still doing the work. It's like just because you're not outputting stuff all the time doesn't mean that you're not doing work. Like
Yeah.
you're mending your relationships. You're you're learning more about yourself, your boundaries, like how do you relate to this type of pattern or person? Like what does it bring up to you? And like just gaining more awareness about yourself. That's doing the work too. So now that I'm back home in Australia, like I'm using this period to accumulate more finances and bring more, like I have um certain responsibilities and things that I'm doing here at home with family, but you know, working and my financial situation. So it's like I have this time to like be balanced and like still work on my projects, but my goal right now is to accumulate finances so then I can go somewhere else in the world and like experience 6 months somewhere or like, you know, however long. I don't know those specifics, but I still have like goals and things that I'm working towards. So that's kind of like how I envision my life, just being really in sync with my seasons.
Mm.
And
Wow.
you know, it's like so I'm really proud that I can live in that way now.
That's so beautiful, Kasha. Wow. Like,
Yeah.
I love that so much. And like the fact that you like went back as well. Because I saw a little bit just on social media as well. It's like, oh
Mhm.
yes. I love going back to like the motherland and like just seeing what like our ancestors went through as well, and like being in the same spots, and like you just getting like a whiff of like
Mhm.
something that just overcomes your senses, and you're like, wow, like I'm standing in the same spot as like like someone in my family would have had experiences here. Like it's just a really special place when you go back and visit, and like having those experiences is like really beautiful, and I can relate to that too. I traveled back to Mauritius. When was it? I think 2018 was the last time I went, and like it was just so healing, and I can feel myself, I can feel the pull towards me wanting to go back as well, and just travel in general, because I haven't done much travel yet. And yeah, I really love that that's what you envision, and that you're actively working towards that, and that's like really inspiring.
Mhm. What was your experience like in Mauritius? Like, what were the specific things that stood out to you and how you relate to being there?
Yeah. Well, again, like a lot of my mum's side of the family are still back home, and it's just really crazy how like when I went back, everyone was just like, "Wow, you're like strikingly similar to your grandpa." And yeah, I just got a lot of like confirmation, if that makes sense, of like my
Mm,
identity, because like in my family, I'm the youngest, and there's like really big age gaps between me and my siblings. So I basically kind of grew up as an only child, but I was very different. I look very different to everybody. I always felt kind of alien from everyone, and I just constantly felt like I was out of place, like especially in my family. So going back and being embraced by everybody who look like me, and who
mm,
actually could like tell me stories, and like get me to connect a bit more with like that side of the family, was so healing, because like yeah, I just spent a lot of my life feeling really really different, and very like I didn't belong. And going back home, like just all the family on my mom's side, like it's just the resemblance is crazy. Like I'm like, whoa, where were y'all my whole life? Like
mm, mm,
so it was a really, really special experience, like getting introduced to people that like, family members that like have genuinely embraced me a lot, and have actually, I had one of the aunties kind of say to me, she's like, yeah, like you are Jodun. You should know that you're a
mm,
Jodun, but
mm,
like, just everything that you are Jodun. Like, so again, that kind of led me to coming back, and because I was going by another stage name for a few years. I think I was just going by my first name, which is Joanne. And after I came back from that trip, I changed my name to Jojodun. So that was kind of the beginning and the origins of like my artistry and like being a musician as well. So I got to reclaim a lot of that history behind that name and carrying it on and actually using it for good.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. And I was just thinking about how I kind of felt similar because I've been to Poland twice. So the first time was 10 years ago. And obviously, I just came back now recently. And I just loved being in Poland because it's like people, I know that I'm white, but it's like it's different because we have like being in Eastern Europe, Poland is it's like Central Eastern Europe. And so
Right.
like I actually have ancestry from Belarus as well, from
Wow.
my mom's dad's side. So it's like more Eastern. But like it's there's different facial features that is ancestral to me. So it's like it's I know that I'm white, but it's still different in a way. So like seeing people with these very strong facial features, it's like, wow, this is like I'm just around my ancestors, like what my ancestors looked like. Like it's so
Exactly.
fascinating to me.
Yeah,
So
for
I loved
real.
it. And like there's such unique facial features. Like I just loved it. And yeah, I'm very grateful that I got to experience that because I'm like, wow, these are these people that look like me. And I know, once again, I know I look white, but it's just like
No, but
feeling
it's different. It hits
yes,
different, and it's
yes.
like, yeah, I had that too. Because I'm the actually the fairest in my family, and I came out like super fair, like hazel eyes. Like they were literally like, "Who is this baby? Like whose child is this?" And yeah, like going back and seeing everybody with like fair skin, light eyes, like getting all like those genetics, like I couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa, life is so crazy, dude. Like, how was I the only one to get any of these genetics and like to come back and see everybody with my nose and my eyes? Like, it's crazy,
Mm,
isn't it?
mm, mhm. It is, and also just being connected to the language as well. Like I know Polish obviously through growing up with my family. I've never been fully fluent. I'm not fluent now, but I speak pretty like basic conversations well. Like I can communicate what I need to.
Hmm.
Um, but just being in Poland and listening to the language and just the tone, the intonation, and like the way people speak to each other, it's like it was very soothing for my inner child as well. Um, so like even the whole concept of being like bilingual or multilingual is really interesting because obviously I'm fluent in English, but I also have Polish. And it's like the language just resonates differently with me. I don't know how to
Mm.
explain it, like on a DNA level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like coded in you, like to, yeah, I feel the same with Creole, which is like our native language. And it's kind of like it's a French language, but it's kind of like a bit more slang. And yeah, I speak fluently. I'm really blessed that like my parents like really like made an effort to teach us all. And yeah, it's just nice. Like if I ever go back to Mauritius, like I can fully get around and like I know yeah, it's really like I feel so blessed because I know obviously like some people they haven't been taught and like they it's so much harder to learn in like your adult years. Like so yeah, I relate to that. It's like speaking your native like tongue language is like it's really healing for your just
Mm,
everything.
mhm. Yeah. There was a few times when we were talking about like singing and stuff, you said dance is like your kind of foundation and what you always go back to. But when did you discover that you could sing?
Um, Such a good question. I started like singing in church actually. So I was like raised pretty Catholic, and on the weekends I would sing at mass on Sundays, and I joined my school choir when I was like in literally maybe like prep or grade one. And I basically got taught how to sing like in the choir. And I sung a lot of like, Catholic hymns and gospel music, which is also like very tied to like, like R&B as well. So I had that kind of like that history like within my singing voice as well. So aside from that, it was honestly, I was so little, like listening to what my older siblings were listening to in the house. They were like, it was like crazy. Like each room I remember had a different vibe. So like my older brother was listening to a lot of Usher, a lot of R&B, like Boys to Men, Brian McKnight, like just a lot of that, a lot of early like 2000s R&B. And then my sister was like listening to a lot of like Alicia Keys and like Craig David, and again, like a lot of R&B. And then my middle brother was very much into like house music, so like a lot of like minimal house, and like um that's kind of what he ended up like going to DJ. So he's like predominantly like house and techno influenced. And then my mum and my dad were like super old school. So like 70s, 80s, like soul. My mum loved like, like 90s music as well. Like, I grew up listening to like a lot of Celine Dion and like Tina Arena and like just a lot of like powerhouse like ballads like Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, like just a lot of like the classics. Like my mum was just a classic gal, like loved them down. We had CDs everywhere because like my brothers would collect music, and so would my sister. So there were just CDs everywhere all over my house. Like it was just a very musical upbringing, and I was so grateful. Like I look back now and I'm like, damn, like I really won at life. Like, what do you mean I just like got to earth and got to like listen to all this mad music in my house? Like it's so telling as to like how I am today, like in real life. I'm like, yeah, well, you weren't listening to Usher when you were 4 years old, were you? But like it's so true, like those like voices are just ingrained into me forever. And like I would watch a lot of I had a lot of like unsupervised access to just like LimeWire. I would like burn my own CDs, like
Same.
you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like that was just the era. I'd watch like Rage, VH1,
Yeah.
MTV. And yeah, I just would literally impersonate like what I was hearing at the time. And because I was already singing at school most days and most weekends, like my voice just became like really, really powerful. Like over time, I just trained my voice from a really young age. And then I got like actual proper singing lessons around maybe 8 or 9. That was the time I picked up keyboard. And then I played classical piano for about 2 years. I hated it. I was like, this is not my vibe. Like, can I play? I think one of the first songs I learned on piano was My Immortal by Evanescence. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I was like, I was that little emo little girl on the
Yeah.
keyboard, like singing my heart out and playing these like really crazy ballads. And that's where I found my voice. I was like, oh my God, I'm just literally like, I loved like Delta Goodrem as well, Alicia Keys, like
Yeah.
any,
Yeah.
any female musician who was like, on the keyboard, like was writing their own music and like singing, I was eating that shit up. I was like, this is me. That's literally me. And then that's where I found my voice. And I would just like the first couple of songs that I ended up writing was when I was like maybe 9 or 10. Um I remember we had this like primary school like I don't know what it was, but we had to like write music about like natural disasters or something. And I wrote this song about a tsunami, and it was like so dramatic and so like, because I was like, damn, these people had me like, playing like Beethoven, and then I was like listening to Alicia Keys. Like you can
Yeah.
imagine how,
Yeah.
like it was just very complex and very like, yeah, that was how I started learning how to sing. I was
Mm-hmm.
just basically just um introduced to so many different genres growing up, and like that's why now I'm just like, damn, I'm trying to get back to that little girl that was playing My Immortal, like singing at the top of her lungs. Like I wanted to be Amy Lee. I literally love Evanescence so much. Like
Mm-hmm.
Amy Lee was like a really big influence on me growing up, because she was such a badass, like playing a grand piano while she was like singing rock music live. I was like, this is everything to me. Like this is the best. So yeah, that's what that's how I grew up singing, really.
Yeah. I had a flashback of when I was in primary school and I loved Kelly Clarkson.
Oh my God.
Bro, I wanted to be like Kelly Clarkson.
I
And
love that.
and so I remember there was this like you know how in primary school they would make events like after school, like discos and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
like everyone was just like dancing, but Kelly Clarkson, Behind These Hazel Eyes, that song. That
That's a
song
great
came on, and
song.
I remember like just singing my heart out, and like everyone was just doing their shit. I was just like,
Oh
I was
my
just
God.
like, I was just like so into it. But yeah, I just got that flashback.
That's
Um,
iconic.
yeah, it
That's
was.
the best. Oh my God. No, Kelly Clarkson. For real. That's, oh, dude. And like, yeah, she had a few like good ballads as well. Like, do you remember that song, Miss Independent or something?
Yes, yes.
That was like, oh my God, I loved that song. And then the one
Same.
that they wrote for Princess Diaries, the na 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 da 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 na. Oh my
Yes.
God. I'll spread wings and I'll learn how to
Yes. I
fly.
love those
That was
songs,
a hood
bro.
classic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Because of You.
Oh, yes, so
And
good.
one song that I really like from the album was from that era. It was I can't remember the name of the song, but it's He drowns in his dreams, an exquisite extreme, I know.
Oh my God,
Do you know that one?
yes.
I love
Yes.
that song. Performed that for one of a competition that I did in high school. So
Oh, period. That's
yeah,
so sick.
yeah. So yeah, I have my little eras too with the different genres and all of that. I think R&B is at the core of it for me,
Yeah.
but I feel like I've had a lot of different musical influences over the years. And so,
Do you feel
I
like
just forget.
no, same. And do you feel like you'll ever like tap into that again? Like those different genres too? Like do you feel like
Hmm.
you'll ever explore that more?
I think I will. Even over the last week, I've caught myself thinking like I know like my foundation is R&B, but also I'd be interested in doing more like electronic music
Mm,
or
mm-hmm.
like I don't know, like I don't know. I'm just open and I'm not trying to define myself in any way. So
100%.
like
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
so excited for whatever you make next. I'm dying to hear your voice again. And
Oh
I honestly, I'm like, when are we collaborating? Like, when are we going to jump on a track?
yes, well, we have to. We should actually do something about that.
Yeah, for real. Like, ASAP. Because, like,
Even if it's like sending demos or like, because I do a lot of vocal layering stuff.
oh,
So,
my
send,
favorite.
yes, sending, but I mean like a cappella stuff too. So, we have to send each other some stuff and like send me some stuff that you're working on too.
Oh, please. Like, yeah, I need them stacks
Yeah.
ASAP.
Yeah. Even if it's like, if you have a song and then you want backing vocals, like I'd love to do that as well.
Oh, you'd eat on BVs. Like, oh my God. Yeah, no, I need to. I need to send you these demos. They're collecting dust in my Ableton.
Yep. Yeah, no, for real. Yeah.
Wait, do you
Cause
use Ableton nowadays? Wait, what do you use now?
no, I use Logic. I've always used Logic.
Oh, damn. I
Yeah,
really
it's
miss
just
Logic. Well, I
yeah.
started because when I studied music production, like I had to learn Ableton, and I was like, I'm scared because I never used this before and I'm
Mm.
so used to Logic. And making the transition was really hard. Like I probably like the first year of me being on Ableton was rough. I was
Mm.
like, damn, this is so different to Logic. But then workflow wise, I do feel like Ableton's a bit more like friendly with it. Like for just like it's pretty quick. And I felt like I was quick in Logic too, but again, like each to their own. I mean, everyone has their preference, but I think now I'm a bit more used to it and now I'm like, okay, like I feel like I can continue to use it. But yeah, it was a
Mm.
learning curve for me for sure. And that was another thing that impacted me, like trying to make, music consistently. I was like, guys, I'm literally learning this like motherboard,
Yeah.
freaking alien, like bloody like software right now, guys. It's really hard.
I feel that. I think I've just used Logic for so long. I'm comfortable with it and I have my process. But I've used like Fruity Loops before.
Mm-hmm.
Fruity Loops. FL Studio. And I learnt when in high school I learnt because I did certificate 3 in technical production. So I learnt on Pro Tools in that way. So I don't know. I'm not interested in like learning anything else right now. Maybe it will come the day where I will learn something else, but just I'm on Logic now.
Yeah, you're a Logic girl through and through. No, I love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
stick to it for sure. If it works, it works. At the end of the day, we're all making music anyway. So we're gonna
Yeah.
find a way to do it, like
Yeah.
regardless of like, yeah, no, 100%.
So tell me more about your vocal production process. Like, because I heard those harmonies in the last and the backing vocals in your song, the one that you dropped recently. So, and I messaged you about it. I'm like, I heard those vocals. So, what is your process with just like harmonies, BVs, or just anything that stood out to you in your lifetime that you've like learned and had to sit with, or just like realizations you've had about your vocal process?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so glad you caught that as well, because I was like, the girls that get it, they're gonna get it. And I'm glad it landed. Because honestly, like, yeah, I love Beyonce so much. And like I think just listening to Beyonce from a really young age, like my voice just naturally adapted to her harmonies a lot. And like
Mm,
in her music, like her harmonies are so layered and so like there's a certain tone that she has when she harmonizes that I use like
yes.
I use a lot. And it's like this really beautiful, like layered raspiness, but like it's still really clear. And there's just like a way that I've kind of learned to like over the years imitate that, but also like make it my own. And yeah, I do a lot of stacks. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I harmonies are a really important part of like vocal production for me. If anything, sometimes I'll record a harmony first and then like go back and figure out what I was trying to say first. But I kind of like,
Same.
yeah, heavy on it. No, seriously. That's why I'm like, yeah, you out of all people, like you would understand this process so
Yeah.
well because I remember even hearing your harmonies for the first time and I was like, my God. I was like, she's just like me. I'm just like
Yeah.
her. Literally, I was like, I was so happy because I was like, oh, like it's so hard. I guess like again, recording with like predominantly like male producers as well, they'll be like, so three's enough, yeah? And I'm like, no, no, no. I need like 10 or 12 stacks, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you better, you know what I mean? I'm like, keep that
Yeah.
mic recording because I'm not done yet. And I
Yeah.
feel like,
I don't want to cut you off, but like I have a story of a producer because I wanted to go in and do the harmonies, and like that was important for me. And like even just from a structural point of view, like conceptualizing how am I going to even approach this song. Um Sometimes I don't want to just like, sometimes I will lay down a melody and stuff, but like for me to, the way my ideas evolve, it includes like the harmonics, the harmonies, like the, even like that's the way I arrange. So like
mm,
I even, the producer I was working with, he was like saying, um he was kind of rushing me to get to like not focus so much on the harmonies as if I was like hiding behind it, and I'm like, I and like having experiences like that where I understand in certain circumstances, like it's necessary to, like, if you have certain goal or certain thing that you're trying to achieve with the music, do that. But like, because we were working on my project and my process, it's like, why can't I just, I didn't feel like I had the safety to just do what I needed to do in that
yes.
process.
Oh
And
my
like
God.
without someone else trying to like um impose on it in a way where I couldn't actually express myself. So that's why I went into a long period of just like learning how to record myself. Um
100%.
and just developing my own system. So like now when I go into certain spaces and collaborate, it's like I already have everything down packed and I don't need to like um I still want to be afforded that process of like the space to create without like without someone kind of imposing on that. But I feel like I'm much more efficient now. And I don't, it's not necessarily of like, oh, I need to be an artist, and do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes. Oh my God. Literally, like everything you just said, I'm like fully in agreement with. Like, that is such a similar process for me as well. Now I feel very sure, like going into like any kind of recording, session or whatever, like I can hold myself down because I know my process so well.
Mm,
And that's been through so much trial and error of like, again, like people just, again, like not giving you the space to work as freely as you need. And like that's so important for us as like artists as well. Like we need that creative safety to be able to be
mm,
like, hey, no, 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 I'm not done, like I need to lay this down. So I fully like feel that so much. And been a big thing of just yeah, I find myself like, obviously we've been making music like on our own for a long time too, like you and I have that in common. And like it's just such a personal
mm,
experience sometimes to be with just you, a microphone, and your voice. Like there's so much to say, and you want to capture yourself in your like most raw state. And like that for me is like a very personal and very intimate like experience. And I don't think I can have it with everybody nowadays. I'm very
mm.
protective of my voice
Same,
now.
same.
Yeah. So that's like been another thing that's like, I guess people maybe have expectations of me to like constantly, be putting music out or whatever. And I'm like, nah, I'll be recording, bro. I'll be
Yeah.
recording. Like, y'all don't know, but like I'll be in my bedroom, like doing these like vocal arrangements. And it's like, yeah, like no one will know and no one will expect it. But like you will hear it in a song that I put out, like you, like even with Down as well, like I made sure, like, because yeah, I had a few issues with mastering for Down, like it was just like, oh, it was really hard. Like Down was a really really big push out. It felt like I was pushing out a physical baby. It was crazy.
Mm,
Like I labored that for a long time. Like I'd sent it to people, I sent it to people for mastering. They never got back to me. And then the guy who mastered down, his name's Tim. He's from Satori Mastering. And like, he was the first one to even ask me, hey, would you like me to bump up your, this and that on your harmonies? And I was like, yes, you understand. I've been trying to like
Mm.
make sure that people, put an emphasis on the fact that like, yes, I need that to stand out because that's a major part of my vocal arrangements. And like me as just a vocalist in general, like harmonies are everything. Harmonies
Mm-hmm.
are like your best friend, and they're so fun to make. Like, I love just recording my vocals. Like, that's like the most fun thing that I can do. It brings me back to like the inner child part of like creating, where I'm just, recording and stacking more and more. And like, you get to a point where you're like, okay, cool, that's 11,000 stacks.
Can relate.
You know what I mean? You're like, you can hear your computer like burning. You can hear
Yes,
like
the
you,
fan.
your laptop's like getting warm and shit. I'm like, oh shit, all right, time to move on to like the drums or something now.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
like, like I feel like that's like it's like the most beautiful part of recording is like layering your harmonies and like
Yeah.
finding the next one and layering that and then harmonizing over that one. And it just becomes such a beautiful extension of like your natural singing voice, and like the melody will always carry. And again, like the harmonies are just they just make everything better. I don't know. I just could never live without harmonies.
Yeah. I'm really passionate about
Same.
harmonies. And every opportunity, like even when I listen to a song, I will probably go for the harmony rather than the vocal, the main line.
Same.
Like I will always harmonize.
For real.
I know for some singers it's a little bit hard to harmonize, but what helped me, or I just started doing this from a very young age, is just like harmonizing, even if it was like off and it was wrong, I would just try to find where everything sat. But I not
Yeah.
only did the top harmonies, but like the lower harmonies too. Because I know some vocalists they can sing like the higher harmony, but it's harder to find the lower ones. So it's
Mm.
like just not being afraid to like be off pitch or wrong or like sing the wrong note. Just like just do it all and see where the notes land, because you can, and also finding variations. You don't have to like mimic the exact way that the melody's moving. Like you can experiment with like how the melody um like articulates.
100%. Like there's there's levels to this shit, you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think it's not, again, it's like so not a linear thing. Recording music is so layered, and it's a real labor of love. And like the ones who get it, they will appreciate it. And I know that to be true because like, putting it down and hearing how like so many people like connected to it, and people, would like you messaged me and you're like, oh my god, the harmonies, like I was like, yes, this is why I'm doing this, because I really I'm so passionate about like these little things that actually make the song what it is. And I think that's like something we don't really like consider and talk about, because like there's just such a maybe just like the way we consume music is so fast these
Mm,
days, and we don't take time to really like slow down the process. And like I find myself like watching breakdowns of how, on YouTube, like a lot of the content that I watch is just like step by steps of like how people make things in the studio, and like
mhm,
just the creative like process in that realm of like, yeah, like putting down vocals, or mixing a snare so that it sounds something like, it's just music production is so good for like processing, like auditory processing, and
yeah,
people and their ability to like tell story through sound. It's just such a crazy concept that like a lot of people overlook, and it takes talent, it takes time, and it takes effort. And I think with like music nowadays, like I just find like, yeah, maybe I am getting tired of like hearing certain songs play out and hearing certain genres and it just kind of sounding all the same. And I think I'm tapping back into those like more layered, more like I listen to a lot of, Kalela.
Mm-hmm.
Her vocals and her harmonies are so beautiful. Like she inspires me so much, and because she does like majority like I guess electronic but like very much R&B influenced. Like she's one of my favorite artists to listen to for inspiration, and just the way that she just blends her harmonies in with her vocals so well, and it gets translated so nicely because she'll use her harmonies to like build up, a certain part of the song, and then the beat will kick in, and then it's a whole other vibe. Like, I really like songs that, go for a long time and have like some kind of like breakdown part. Like they don't sound like the same song that you listen to like for the first minute or minute and a half. Like it changes into something else. Like I've really always kind of enjoyed that because I'm like, how many different how many songs can I fit into one song? like
Yeah.
like how literally I'm just like always finding out ways of doing some kind of like B-side breakdown. And yeah, that the harmonies are my favorite way to introduce like a new part of a song because it's so good. I can't even live without them. Like, no.
No. If there's one thing that I can't live without, it's creativity and harmonies.
For real, for real. And like,
Two
oh,
things.
yeah, literally same. It's everything.
Yeah. And in terms of the storytelling of your music, what kind of themes do you like writing about, and where do you draw from when you are writing?
I'm like, I'm gonna take a deep breath before I get into this. Um, I find that I just like lately I think I've been exploring more about like the things that I've been going through for the last couple of years. Like I've experienced a lot of like instability with like housing and jobs, and just like kind of going very quickly from thing to thing. And I think this is like the first time I've slowed down in a really long time. And so I'm having a lot of like the same kind of like I guess like stories come up that want to be told. Like the same kind of things come into my head that I want to write about, which is like, I guess, yeah, the number one like love song freaking, like heartbreak and just like adversity, overcoming adversity. And I talk a lot about alchemy in my music as well. Like um even like writing down, and I look back on like the lyrics and like where I was at during that time, and I was in a very like critical period of like getting into this like kind of healing phase that I was in for a long time. And I think I got a bit tired of being in that healing phase because you're like, obviously, healing is not, it's like it's so, yeah, it's not linear, one, but also like you don't have to heal for the rest of your life. Like you have to
Yeah.
live your life eventually. I think I just got stuck in a lot of these patterns and a lot of these like cycles that I started breaking this maybe just this year. And so what I'm writing about now is just overcoming that, and going through like my own process of like accepting the things that I can't change, and accepting like the parts of like my reality that have like really, I think those experiences tried to make me feel jaded, and I don't want to be jaded because of those experiences, and I want to be able to like write about it and get it out, and then like also accept that like that's part of life. Like you're going to go through some cooked shit, you're going to go through some traumatic shit, like things are just going to happen. It's always about how you're going to process it. And so for me right now, like getting more into like my piano kind of ballads and stuff like that, like I'm excited to write about those more vulnerable topics because I haven't in so long. I think I've just been kind of like trying to write happy music, and like it's just not working. Like I can write happy music and upbeat shit, but it's not necessarily like true to me. I know that I'm a very like deep person, and like I embrace like the things that make us who we are, and like sometimes experiences just they impact you in a way that like you can only write about them in a honest way. Like I can't make my, you know, my last relationship like a happy track. Like it's not, that's just not what it's going to be. It's going to be, you know, like it's just certain things that I've gone through that have influenced my sound now, and I'm moving into this like this kind of like new way because of all the things that I'm now processing that I probably wasn't processing while I was in it because I was just trying to survive it. And now
Mm.
that I'm out of survival mode, I'm excited to see what that sounds like that kind of like novelty of those experiences. Like I'm excited to write about and really like embrace and write very honestly. Like I feel like the real kind of feelings are going to come out, and that's my favorite type of music to listen to. Like I love Summer Walker. I love, you know, how she is able to be so vulnerable in like her music and like write about her experiences, you know, in love and out of love, and you know, her journey with like anxiety and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of artists that I think I look up to that are just like have really encapsulated that experience of like you can write about hard and sad stuff, but like, you know, there's a really beautiful sonic way to do it. And I think I'm tapping into that really kind of like that new kind of production where it's not just going to be, you know, a bunch of beats. Like I'm really stripping it back and I really want to tell my story now.
Hmm. I think about how now I'm at a very like healed place. So
Mm.
even the songwriting process, I would kind of channel a lot of that anxiety and just the negativity of previous relationships I had or like things that I
Mm.
was going through. And I'm like, even as a woman now, and just like realizing what were those relationships?
Girl,
Like,
what was
what?
going on?
Like, but
Literally.
why did I put myself in that situation? You know? So
Yeah.
like even when I listen back to my old demos, I'm like, I was really going through it and like I was really
Same.
sad, bro. I was
Same.
sad. And like now that I'm not, how does that affect my songwriting process? And I've been kind of like I wrote a demo the other day and it I didn't think too much about the lyrics. I kind of was just freestyling the melody and then putting the lyrics in where it fit. And it just fit. And I was like, oh, this is cool. But so like I don't I've outgrown a lot of those feelings and needing to
Mm.
feel connected to like those past relationships. So I think I'm generally like a very positive person. Even now, like I can just be positive. And so getting into that space, I don't know how that's gonna work. Because I think obviously I would draw from certain life experiences in the past, but yeah, it's different when you're like actually going through the emotions and then
100% when you're like still,
afterwards.
yeah, like when you're actively in it versus when you've like come out of it. Yeah, absolutely. I guess I'm struggling with the same thing now too, where I'm like, okay, like I'm not in like crazy survival mode anymore. How am I supposed to like channel that energy? But I'm like, nah, like I definitely can. Like I feel
Mm,
like there's ways that we can tap into it without it being like so consuming. And I
yes.
think like finding that really like fine balance between, yes, this is like, this should be an outlet. Like it should allow you to kind of like relive it for a temporary moment. And you should be able to like draw what you need to draw out of that experience. And then you can appreciate like how you translate it into music, like that similar experience we were talking about before where you're like you're constantly listening to your new demo, like you get that like demoitis, like you're like fuck that, I got that bug again, like it's just I'm itching to constantly listen to that verse or like that lyric and how that landed or that harmony that I just did or the way I mixed that snare. Like you find those little like those little nuggets, those little like,
Yes.
like inspiration, like things that you're like, damn, like that, that really has like changed like the whole vibe of like what I was trying to say in a really positive way. And then like you actually like that's alchemy. You've like turned something that has happened to you like into something that you can now process through like listening and speaking and singing. Like that's a really beautiful process to go through.
Mm. And so how, in terms of like the stories and the narratives and the things that make up your world, how would you define Joe's world?
Oh, that's such a good question. Damn. Um, I think okay, at this point in time, um, a lot of like the themes around like my music are really to do with again like overcoming adversity and overcoming shit that you thought was going to like absolutely break you, and it's actually turned you into more of a bad bitch. Um and yeah, I'm writing from a very empowered state now versus when I was writing in like victimhood, and like when I was really going through it. I can see and hear the difference now, and I'm like, yeah, my inner world is so it's so rich. Like I draw from my childhood, I draw from my ancestors, my heritage, my culture. I draw from, my Latin and Afro influences as well through dance. Like all the things that we talked about, I constantly draw from. And like, although I may not have, like the quote unquote things that, people have by, like, it's just, again, I'm constantly redefining what I want. Like, I guess as you get to your late 20s and into your 30s as well, like life changes. You
Mm,
change so much. Like
yeah.
I think back to me a year ago and I'm like, oh, that girl was really going through it. And like now that I'm like not in that, whatever I was in, it's just like I just have so much love and so much appreciation for myself. And like this is like the first time I've ever felt like this where I'm like at like I'm at peace with like the things that I've gone through, and like it's a really good place to be where like I'm not like angry at the world. I'm not angry at people. I'm like I've processed what I needed to process, and like it was hard. Yeah, of course. It's not easy to like go through, but at the same time I don't want all my music to be about like heartbreak and this and that. I'm like, nah, like yeah, have your heart broken and let it push you into the best version of yourself. Like go through the things you're going to go through. Like, yes, accept that this is like life and shit happens, and things happen outside of your control. But like how are you dealing with that? Like it's more so I'm writing from a place now where like I think about my inner child and protecting my inner child and reparenting myself through like, dealing with the traumas that I've dealt with as well. And like, I'm really just in a phase now where like I really want things to feel good. I don't want to do things that don't feel good to me. And it's really just it's coming back to a really simple place where like I'm safe, I have my base needs met. I really just, I've really just gone back to basics, and again like tapping back into playing piano again as well. Like teaching all last year was really tough for me because I was getting further and further away from like my love for like just playing in general, and it became like, this is another thing too, like when we monetize our creative like things and like we'd start doing things for work, and it just fucking it takes everything out of you. You don't want to do it anymore. And it just like, yeah, that's how I felt for a long time about music, that I was just like doing it for, monetary purposes, and like I just didn't want that anymore. And like yeah, like there's a lot of things now that I'm just like, wow, I'm very grateful to just have come to all these realizations at the age that I am at right now. I think about the fact that I'm the first woman in my family to experience life like this. Like, I'm not married, I don't have kids. Like, there's just a lot of things that, like, I think about where I'm probably the first woman in my ancestry to ever experience life in this way, and to be an artist and to be like had to have so much just freedom in my life right now, like you said, with traveling and stuff like that. Like, I didn't my mom never got to do that, neither did my sister. And so I really feel like I'm the one that is breaking a lot of these generational cycles. And like, it's a really cool thing, and it's also a really scary thing, but it's kind of the thing that anchors me into like what I can write about and what experiences I can draw from. And that, honestly, is it's so honest to me. Like, I couldn't even be more real. That's like the realest thing I could write about.
Mm. Yeah, that's amazing. And I think a lot of us in this generation are afforded that kind of
Mm.
freedom to make the choices that we can now. So I know I'm very grateful for everything that my mother has done. And, I'm the extension of her and her dream and the
Yes,
dreams of my ancestors too. So, like, yeah, just very grateful for that.
100%. Yeah.
I want to talk about community and collaboration. I know we've talked a little bit about the collaboration aspect, but we're both from Melbourne, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said it like that.
I know why
We're
you
both.
said it like that.
Yeah. So like what has your experience been like collaborating in Melbourne and the music community in Melbourne?
Um, Without saying too much, obviously it's just like not been great. And I say that because obviously I'm gonna be honest, but like I just feel like there's a lot of misogyny.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of it's just very male dominated, and I feel like as well just quite everyone's kind of in their own subgroups of like their own like communities too. And so like I'm from the southeast, and like a lot of artists from the southeast, I feel like because we're so far out as well, we often don't really find community until we like go more out into the city, and all of that. And even that comes with its challenges too, because like, I mean, there's amazing artists from the Southeast as well, but I feel like we're not that connected. Like I know a few people like obviously from the Southeast that have gone to do amazing things and they're very successful. But I wonder how much of that success is like because they like I don't know like how they've managed to like gain community over like time, or whether they always had that community there, or like whether there were people that like grew up in the same school that just kind of stuck together. Like I feel like Melbourne's very like subnetted in their own little groups. Like whoever like kind of grew up in the same like high school, like they tend to stay friends, and then like they tend to like go and do things like by themselves or whatever, or together. And like personally for me that was not my experience. Like after high school, I was I had friends from high school, yeah, but after a while we just stopped aligning, and that's okay. Like you're allowed to move on from people, but I still do feel like there are people who are kind of like stuck in their own limited like ways of expression. And like that's not to say like whatever, but I just didn't actually feel like I belonged anywhere. And it was like it took a really long time for me to find like people like my producer. So I work with mainly with a producer named Stanza. And yeah, we met like about maybe 4 or 5 years ago through like a couple mutual friends, and realized that he was also from the southeast too. And that's what I mean. It's really strange how we don't necessarily meet where we're from, but until we kind of start branching off and meeting up in the city where there's a lot more like venues and gigs and stuff like that. Like until you kind of like get exposure and you kind of like go to events and stuff like that, again, you meet people, but it's not guaranteed that you're going to get along with them, and that it's not guaranteed that you guys are going to be creatively aligned. And so like I think it's just kind of part of the process where you have to be super selective and really picky about who you're sharing this type of energy with, because creative energy is very powerful. um and I think, yeah, like it's really hard to align with people who don't have the same vision as you. And I think that's like something that I've had to overcome as well, is just to stay really grounded in my own vision. And I guess that's why I haven't really collaborated with a lot of people um, recently. Like I don't. I'm just kind of tired. I'm just kind of like, I already kind of know the vibes, and yeah, I just kind of prefer to work with people that I fully 100% align with, and that's quite rare at the moment. So like the people who I do make music with, which is like literally just me and Stanza, my producer, like he produced my latest single, and he mixed my EP as well. So we've definitely created a good alliance over the last few years. But again, I think to myself, like I really want to grow away from that sound, and I'm looking obviously to make new connections. I just have trust issues, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does make sense. I went
Yeah.
I went through that too, but it was like probably 5 years ago where I realized I'm just not aligning with a lot of the people that I thought I was. And I
Mm,
kind of had to deviate and do my own thing for a while. So like even now, you know how you're saying you kind of rarely collaborate. That's the same with me. Because I also feel like when I do collaborate, it's not that I'm trying to over control or be hyper controlling of anything, but it's just like some people are just not respectful
yeah, absolutely.
of the
Huge.
process. And it's like
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of projecting. And even recently I've attempted to collaborate, and it was like once again these projections. And I'm like, okay, I it's not that I'm trying to be out here by myself doing it all by myself. It's just the benefit has been that I've been able to develop so many different skills and like get good at a lot of things.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I've even since a young person, I've always wanted to collaborate, but for some reason, it's just a lot of people not aligning. So I'm like, I'm just trusting that when it does come time to like sit down and work with people and go through that process together, even if it's not on my work, if it because I want to help artists and I want to help other people. I've been doing that through artist development through like one-on-one sessions and programs, but I really like know how useful and how amazing I would be just being in the studio and like working with artists in that way and helping them build their worlds and like extracting everything in the musical aspect because I have that foundation too musically. So it's like I'm just waiting for the right person and people to do that with. So like I'm just like, God, God, I
No,
hope
for
that's
real.
soon.
I'd be calling out to the hills. I'm like, someone send, please send them right now. No, that's so real. That is so real. And I'm like, it's really nice actually kind of healing, hearing you also have like this a similar experience as well, because I think a lot of the time, um, I don't know. I don't feel like people are as honest. I think people would prefer to say that, they are collaborating and they're doing this and that, and, projects coming soon and da 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 da. But really, it's like, are you really enjoying that process? Like, are you really, yeah, I often just question shit. I question shit a lot of the time. I'm questioning if people are being really, authentic, and like if that's actually really what's happening. And
Mm.
like majority of the time my intuition always is correct. So
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
I would be probably better off protecting myself and my energy than like, I don't know, like collaborating with people that I'm clearly not meant to be around. So yeah, I feel like universe is always just like unfortunately I've had to learn the hard way. I've had a lot of lessons with that, like a lot of like, karmic lessons too, with just in terms of, collaborating and letting people have control and whatnot. But it's just at the end of the day, like, yeah, if you don't align, like that can't really be changed. And like I'm really all about, yeah, just keeping it 100 with people. And I will literally just say, hey, I'm just not open to collaborations right now, or I'll see what kind of sound they produce or whatever. And also like you said, we've had to just develop our own skills. We've had like time to do that. And also when people don't come correct and they don't come with like, like it's just really tough because you're like, I could do this in like 5 minutes. Like
Mm. Mm-hmm.
so there comes like a skill set as well that like people just don't tend to think that we possess. And it's like it's no judgment towards what they do, but it's kind of just like we operate at a different standard. The quality
I'm a
that
very.
we huh
I was. Sorry. Did. Oh no. Were you still talking? Because
um
I think it cut out for a second. My
oh, it
internet.
might have, yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's
Continue.
okay. Did you just sneeze?
No.
Oh, it sounded like you sneezed and then maybe it cut out. When did that happen?
Uh, no, because I was like, what you said about people not kind of perceiving that you have that skill set. I was like, yeah, story of my fucking life, bro. Like I have
Literally.
so many skills and I'm like good at what I do, but
Yeah.
constantly like, and I'm not complaining because I know who I am, right? But it's just like it used to really get to me. And now when I see people who are kind of, I can tell that the way that they're perceiving me by the interactions and like the weird things that they'll say. And I'm like,
Yeah.
bruh, I can do this shit. What are you fucking talking about? Like,
Literally, like it's I relate. Can relate. I relate.
like,
It's yeah. It's
it's
wild. That's what I mean.
like,
Like
go ahead,
like
go ahead.
literally like I can do that in 5 minutes. Like yeah, it's crazy. It's actually wild. And it's funny because I think back to when I was studying music production and like I was like the only girl in the room, surrounded by all these like boys in
Mm-hmm.
our class. And it was just like a really like obviously it was just cooked because I was like, what is going on? Like, and what is this like this internalized misogyny that just exists within the music production like realm, like the fact that, well, just because I'm a girl, like I can't mix. Like
Mm.
and yeah, it's just been really interesting. And I wanted to like forge more spaces for women to have the safety to be able to just make the music they want to make. And in 2023 I was really lucky to be a part of like the first round. I don't know if you know One Off Tracks.
No.
In yeah, they're based in Sydney. And it's basically like a designed for people who identify as femme, to come through and just it's like a writers camp workshop kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I actually remember you posting about that because I remember seeing there were some videos.
Yeah, yeah. That was really healing for me. Like just collaborating and creating with other like women and just it being just such a different and just a healing experience in itself. Just to be able to be so creatively free and um yeah, just it was just so good. Like it really, really put back the faith in me for the future of music production and collaboration.
Yeah, that's good. That's what we
But
need.
again,
Like,
yeah. But again, it wasn't in Melbourne, it was in Sydney. So I'm thinking like, damn, like I think I have more connections in Sydney than I do in Melbourne right now for in terms of, people who I can trust to collaborate with that understand me as a person and as an
mhm.
artist. But I can't say the same for Melbourne right now. So that's quite telling.
Yeah, I don't, I know there's like a lot of, there is these underlying things and undertones of men kind of assuming things or like undermining. I've experienced that. Like, I know it's a thing. But also now I kind of just look at people like they're weird. Because it's not only men, it's sometimes it's women too. It's like everybody
Yeah.
like just
Yeah, you're
undermining.
right.
And so like
Hmm.
I I when I encounter that shit, I'm like, no, I don't see it as like something that's wrong with me. Now it's like that person is weird. It's
Yeah,
like
like they're just moving weird. Yeah.
why that's unfortunate for you that you can't even see me, you know?
That's yeah. Oh my God. Okay, yes. I definitely relate for sure. And when you just like start to peep the energy, like and the shifts that happen while you're like it could even just be like while you're communicating. Like you can tell when someone, by the way they communicate whether they're going to align with you or not. And then like obviously your intuition starts to like pop off and you're like, I'm catching that.
Yeah, and
Like
then things start just happening and it's like, oh, okay, everything's just unfolding.
yeah, yeah, you're like, okay, universe, stop attacking me. I get it. I get it.
I receive
Things
it. I receive that lesson. I receive
yeah,
that perception.
for real. Oh my God. The way that we'll always be humbled by the universe just making sure that, like we
You
don't.
get it. But it's always like an opportunity to make a choice. Like what actions are you
Yes.
going to take around this thing that has happened or what you're perceiving? And like instead of internalizing everything like I once did, once again it's like I know what choices I want to make for myself. And so if it means like people imposing on my boundaries or people treating me a certain way because they're assuming something about me, whatever it is, it's like I don't internalize that. I just make decisions where it's like I can create more of the reality I want. I can make choices to be around more of the people that I want, rather than feeling like, why do I keep like attracting these people? Why can't I, that desire to collaborate? Why can't I collaborate? Why can't I do this? It's like I don't care now. Like I'm just doing what I'm doing and like I'm creating. I'm just creating what I want to do right now. And if someone aligns with that, it will happen. It's not a thing of like me feeling sorry for myself anymore because I did. Um, you
Dude,
know.
that's so real. That's so real.
Mm,
Like everything you just said, like, oh my gosh, it's so true. It's so true. Cause like I feel like we're gonna create anyway, like regardless of whether these people come or they don't, like I guess our mission still remains as that we need to keep on doing this because it's a
mhm,
part of us and that's never gonna stop, whether and I think, yeah, surrendering is so important. And I feel like you do that really well. Like something that you really inspire me with. Like when I see sometimes the things that you write and that you post, I resonate really, really strongly with it because you're really good and you're really good at surrendering and accepting things that may not be in alignment and you're like no, I'm okay with that. Like if the time arrives and that thing arrives in its time that it's meant to come, then like I'm okay with that. I'm not going to try and force something that's not working right now. And like, yeah, just your ability to surrender into that is has always been really inspiring to me.
Thank you.
Of course, yeah, and like you've always been someone that's really seen me. Like I've always felt really seen and very like received by you, not only as a person but as a friend and like a fellow musician. And it's just so rare to come by, and I just feel very grateful that we're both in spaces where we can do stuff like this, and we're not bound by anything other
Mm,
than our need to just be ourselves. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like such a vital part of the way we both express. And like, yeah, like definitely over the years I've seen you like really blossom and like flourish into this version of you that you are now. And it's like been really beautiful to witness. So I just want to say like congratulations, honestly, for real.
Thank you. It means a lot to me. Um, and I'm just taking the time to receive it. And like, I'm really grateful to have this conversation with you because it's not often that we have full, in depth, like, conversations and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do appreciate watching your journey as well and you going through that process of expressing yourself from social media and like seeing you explore your different creative sides. Like I love the looks recently, like the aesthetics that you've been putting out recently, like um even more of that physical sensual expression as well. So yeah, it's really nice to hear more of your perspective too, and just your creative the way you're articulating your creative
Thanks
experiences.
so much. It means so much to me. It's so nice. I always say like to be known is to be loved, you know? And I feel like that's such a it's a really beautiful thing to like, just witness like people do their thing and just like I love when people find what they have needed to find, and they lock in and they do it. And like yeah, I guess like even with like the aesthetics and the looks and stuff like that, like it was really it was just like so interesting to like tap into, because I felt like with down especially like each look was so intentional, and I still haven't really gotten to like get into that with like my audience through like social media yet as well. But I find that like there was like a shot of me with like a flower in my head, and I was like wearing like a floral kind of like tankini top, and I'm like, that's so me, like that's so island coded and like just part of like being Mauritian. And like it reminds me of like the cultural dance wear that we used, like our costumes that we used to wear. And then the whole cowboy kind of look was like heavily inspired by like me moving back to the southeast after like being in the city for ages, and like coming back to like my roots, and living close to a farm right now. That's where I live. And like it's just like there's horses and cows and shit all around me, and I love it. I need the balance of and the juxtaposition of like yeah, although I'm a city girl, I'm also, this is also me, and I really need this side of me to ground as well. And yeah, the whole cowboy look was very heavily inspired by the early 2000s as well, and like Destiny's Child, and even Madonna as well. Like that whole concept is just really cool to me. I've always wanted to be a cowgirl. Um, and yeah, what else was there? There was like the pink fairy background. Like yeah, it was just very it's just really fun. Like I love being intentional with like my looks and having little stories behind the things that I do, because yeah, everything is so intentional to me, and like that is just me in a nutshell, really.
Mm. Well, that's beautiful. And so What do you feel like your medicine is to the world?
Oh my God, what a question. I feel like my medicine to the world is I really feel like I'm coming into more of like myself and my self-expression. And I want to just be that kind of like beacon to help remind people that it's okay and safe to be all the versions of yourself. Like you don't have to water yourself down to be don't have to dilute yourself or shrink yourself to be one thing or to be palatable, to be anything. Like you as you are loved, you are important, you have purpose here. Like I want to remind everyone that whatever they choose to do, whether if it's creative, if it's something that's related to your daily life, your career, your self-expression, your spirituality, your faith, like whatever it is, like I want everyone to be the best version of themselves, and I want people to realize that alchemy is real. Alchemy is so important as humans. Like we need to be utilizing our experiences more and not falling victim to things, but understanding how those experiences are meant to change you so that you can grow into the best version of yourself.
Mm. Alchemy seems to be a consistent like theme.
Yeah, I think it's just because I've had to overcome so much. Like I couldn't afford to let myself, go or fall into, a pit of despair. I think I've always had something to anchor me back into, again, like being creative and utilizing that to just process. Like art is, so important. Like it's such a beautiful part of being on earth. And like the daily things that we have to witness and all the shit that happens like in the world, like you need something to anchor yourself. And I think like my creativity is my medicine, and I want people to realize that that is a very healing part of like your world, like your inner world, and how you perceive the outer world too. Like people art is just the one thing that's always been a constant. Like everybody's always written about like whether you write, whether you paint, whether you sing or dance, like whatever, like you deserve to turn your most like, I guess, most traumatic things into something beautiful. Like everyone has that opportunity, and it's like, again, it's the choices that you make, and where you go, like where you choose to put that energy. And you can either put that energy and continue to feel a type of way about your experiences, or you can turn them into something that is really going to help you process. And also like it's your gift to the world. Like I really think that having so many different gifts is like such a blessing. Like I honestly, I'm so grateful that I can do all these things in this lifetime, and I hope that I get to do more, like it's really just life. And it's like you really should like, take it one day at a time and explore the things that you really want to do, and do it. Like yeah.
And what do you see for the future of humanity and creative people?
um I see a world where I think I'm already starting to see it, but just less of a world that is like bound to rules and stuff like that. Like I think of it from a very astrological point of view, where we were kind of in like Pluto was in Capricorn for a long time, so it was all about like hard work and having these like really strong systems in place so that people could follow and conform. And it was a very like diplomatic era of the world. And I think we're moving into a new, completely like untapped, unknown territory right now, where we as people get to define that, not the systems. So I think naturally just being Aquarius is just naturally being non-conforming and being a bit weird and being a bit like like yeah, just not like we're very defiant. And I feel like we're constantly like forging our way in the world and redefining what it means to be a multifaceted person, and or just what it means to be human in general, and accepting that, yeah, like people really go through some really hard shit, and life at the moment is not like how it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. We're living in completely new times, and we all, I think, need to adapt, become a lot more adaptable to this new world, and yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of blurring the lines of like what we need to be and what we should be doing and what is expected of us, and again, like redefining it for yourself. I feel like the world that we're stepping into now is a lot more free, and I think that's why people are coming forward and delving into self expression a lot more. Like we're seeing this more than ever in history before. So, yeah, I look forward to it. I feel like everyone's like having a hard time adjusting, but I feel like I always thrive in the chaos. So it's kind of nice seeing people break out of their own, like, break out of their own like jail cells in a way, and like tapping into their truest form of like themselves. Like that's the shit that lights me up. I love to see it, and yeah,
That made me think about how the music industry is shifting as well. And
yeah, for sure.
I didn't finish my point before because I went on I deviated from what I was trying to say, but it goes back to what I was saying before, like the future that I see, it goes back, it's like kind of like what you were saying, how we've lived in a very structured and conforming world. And I think even for artists, and this is like the work that I'm doing as well, and what I hope to contribute to is create systems and structures where more fluidity within the creative process is allowed. Like,
Mm,
and that doesn't impact the trajectory of an artist's career. Because I know this certain in infrastructures, there's certain trajectories that to be like a pop star, to be successful as an artist and creating like um having a stable financial support means you have to take these certain actions. And I would like to in my lifetime contribute to reimagining what that looks like, where we can truly thrive as creative people, but that doesn't impact our ability to exist, and like we don't have to survive off of this shit anymore.
period. Oh my God, yes. Yes.
So yeah, I feel that. And thank you for the work that you're doing, even just as a human and the healing and going through those processes with your trauma and, becoming a better version of you and having that intention to put intentional creative work into the world. Like I think a lot of people under assume the impact of art, and we need like physical ways that people show up. We need systems. We need all these things like to for our basic necessities, right? But there's also a really important role that artists and creative people are playing through this process of alchemy, like you're saying. Like
Mm,
we are doing this very energetic work and putting our art into the world that influences culture, that influences people, that helps people see themselves and tap
yes.
into more of who they are. So just from that level, I just want to thank you for the work that you're doing, and hearing more about that is beautiful to understand what that is for you.
Oh, that means so much to me. Like that's what I mean. I'm like it's so special, like being seen, and like the fact that you're able to recognize like that's a part of the journey as well is really beautiful. So thank you for witnessing this process and being here for it. I'm so grateful.
I'm grateful too. Now, as we close out um, the podcast, is there anything else that you want to share with the world?
Um Well, I guess if people are listening who haven't really heard my music before, I would love to direct you to listening to some of my music. So I've got a couple songs out on Spotify right now and Apple Music, all streaming platforms really. And my very, very special EP is on SoundCloud, which is a really, I guess that's a sonic experience in itself if you'd like to tap into that. It's called Peace of Mind. So I think based off the title, you can kind of get a vibe of what kind of music and sort of stories I'm telling on that as well. If you want to really get to know me as an artist, Peace of Mind is a really special body of work that I have out that will help you get to know me a bit better. And if you guys are new and you've like stayed all the way and you've like really listened to like all the things that we've said, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Um, if you'd like to follow me on anything, my tag is at JODUN. That's JO full stop JODUN. And thank you so much. I really appreciate and love you guys for supporting me in any way that you possibly can. It means the world so that I can keep on giving you guys beautiful bodies of work and stories, and I'm able to keep doing what I'm doing. So, and obviously supporting Kasha in the process as well. If you haven't, and if you're creative and you want to get to the real depths and core of your creative expression, I would 100% urge you to book a session with Kasha because she is amazing.
Whoa. I don't have to do any plugging.
Literally.
Thank you.
Of
Thanks.
course. My absolute pleasure.
No, yeah, everybody go check Jo out and, receive her art if you feel called to. So thank you so much, Jo, for coming on here. And it's been really, really great to talk to you.
Likewise.
I really enjoyed it.
Me too. I'm very, very thankful for this. And maybe next time we might have a song out. Who knows?
Yeah, no, we have to work on that.
No, for real. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, my pleasure. It's been so nice talking to you. I actually haven't spoken to you in so long, like over like in person as well. So it's been so nice to reconnect and it's always good chats with you, girl. Honestly, you're such a G. You're actually such a G at what you do. Seriously, like
Thank
you're
you.
everything. You're such an inspiration for me always. And I have lots of love for you. So thank you once again.
I have a lot of love for you too.